Prices are going higher this fall. The grocery analysts are telling us because of tariffs, the drought, and fuel and fertilizer costs, this fall we're going to see a fairly steep increase in food prices. So let's talk about what your weapons are to do battle and win. Hey, Provident Preppers, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Kylene. Food prices are going crazy, and quite frankly, we expect them to be significantly higher this fall. So we're not going to freak out, but in today's video, we're going to talk about some real live action steps that you can take and give you some amazing tips that might be really helpful. One of which is that while we're creating this video, we are going to be making one of our family's favorite meals, which is fried rice. But it's also one of the most economical things because you can take the rice and add anything you want to it and stretch your budget and fill bellies. So this rice, we had family dinner on Sunday. Oh, I don't know why I put this in first. That's okay. It's because I'm on the video. Usually I would add the onions and the mushrooms first, but we'll go ahead and put the rice in. I usually do my onions, which is pretty much a foundation for the fried rice, and then we love mushrooms.
And just so you know, I stir like a boy. I don't cook like she does. She makes it look masterful. For me, it's not something I do all the time. I do some, but...
I think you're doing fabulous. On this one, we're gonna do slap ya mama, but quite frankly, there are all kinds of different spices that you can use that will change the flavor of fried rice. I have grandkids who their grandma Carmen makes eggs and rice, and no matter how hard I try, I can't create the same thing as Grandma Carmen can because she's from Peru and she's got this down, man. She's got the magic. All she does is the rice and the eggs. So think about this. We're using leftovers, we're using what we have, and we're making it fabulous. So, John, talk to us about what's happening with prices in 2020 while I'm cutting this stuff up.
Well, since 2020, prices have gone up about 25%. So, you know, that's considerable. And again, this year, USDA is predicting that prices are going to go up another 3.6%. So that's why it makes sense to take some action now. As they would say, knowledge without action is just anxiety. So let's not worry about it. Let's just put that energy into doing some positive, constructive things to make a difference. So there's really three price drivers at this point that are going to impact us. One of those is tariffs. We've heard a lot about tariffs. The other is drought. They are calling this a monster drought, especially in our area and in the West. And fertilizer and fuel costs is the third factor, and that's affecting everything. And you know, we're all feeling the higher fuel costs, and the fertilizer costs are hitting the farmers really hard. So all this is going to take a toll.
So what does this really mean for us? Well, it means that higher food prices, and there's always a lag. And so it's a 12 to 18 month lag, right?
For tariffs, yeah.
For tariffs. Well, and even for the fertilizer thing, because a lot of the foods that we're eating this year right now were grown last year.
Yeah, that is true.
And so we look at it and then we think this fall could be really rough. So we want to do everything that we can right now to prepare. And the best way to do that is to learn to cook from scratch because restaurant prices are going to go up, right?
Yeah, they're going to probably go higher faster than regular food prices. So, yeah.
So learn to cook from scratch and stock your pantry and learn to grow some of your own food. So all of this, I know that it's only kale and some spinach, but you know what? I can add it to so many different things, and anything that I can produce on my own property means less food that I have to buy.
And let's not forget about here that this kind of food is also far healthier.
Yeah.
So in the long run, it's making an even bigger difference because we're healthier, we're stronger, and this food is awesome.
That's looking so good. There is something incredibly amazing about being able to go out to your back door and harvest food and eat it at your own table. It's just incredibly satisfying.
So I'll put in a plug right here. For growing some of your own food, start small. If you haven't grown food before, start small, do something. It'll probably become an addiction like it is with Mama. And,
it sure is.
And it is, because you're growing food that's so much healthier and it tastes so much better.
It is, and I can stretch so many different things with it. Now we're watching this fried rice, and the rice is separating into little kernels. The onions are starting to
Caramelize just
a little bit, and the mushrooms, and you don't have to put mushrooms in it. I mean, you can do anything that you want, but we happen to love eating mushrooms.
And again, that's the beauty of this fried rice. Whatever's in the fridge, well, not whatever. There's some stuff that doesn't go in here, but most of this stuff
But a lot of it.
Yeah, let's throw that in. We'll throw this in. A little bit of cabbage, a little bit of peppers, whatever you've got.
Yeah, so now that that's started, now I'm going to throw in my greens and my squash. These are some freeze-dried peppers that I have rehydrated. I don't want all the water in there. I love the freeze-dried peppers. In fact, I created a whole video on how to preserve peppers because you can just dehydrate them, and that's fine. So click on the card in the corner and go watch that video over on the Provident Gardener. This is also just some leftover steamed cabbage that we had. Because it's already fully cooked, I'm just gonna wait and put it in after this starts to soften just a little bit. One of the other things I love to put in it are pumpkin seeds because they just give it that little bit of crunch. Now, John and I are a little bit separated about whether or not we like eggs in it. I love eggs and lots of eggs, and he doesn't. So what we'll do is we're gonna take part of this out when it's done for him, and then I'll cook the eggs and do the rest of it for me. Okay, but let's talk about this for a second while this is cooking. So we've got prices that are going up, which means that we need to build our prepper pantry, right? We've got to stock at least 3 months worth of food, preferably more, and it's just a pantry that we rotate through. Now, if you don't have any money to do that, all is not lost, because in most places, if you will go to your local food bank and volunteer, they will give you food. And we have a friend who does that. He can't afford to stock up or to actually meet a lot of his basic needs. And so he goes and he volunteers for 4 hours a week at a local food pantry, and that takes care of his food needs. So,
and that blesses lots of lives.
Yeah.
What a wonderful thing to do. What a community kind of thing to do.
So you can be creative. If you have no extra money, be creative, but now is the time to do this. The second thing that we would recommend that you do is you spend $10 a week and build your food supply. And so this whole thing wouldn't be as good if we didn't have the rice. So even if you can buy a 25-pound bag of rice and stretch that over a couple weeks, because that's more than $10, or just buy a 10-pound bag of rice 1 week, the next week buy 5 pounds of beans, a couple pounds of lentils, the next week maybe some oats and some salt, baking soda and baking powder. Week 4, how about just some extra canned protein? Whatever canned protein is on sale, or if you find a great sale and you have a freezer and you can stock up and put it in your freezer, that's great too. Everything doesn't have to be shelf stable, especially when we're talking about our short-term food supply that we're gonna be rotating through. And then you keep doing that and you will be amazed how quickly you can build your pantry.
What do we call that? Small, steady steps. The 3 S's, small, steady step. A little bit at a time, and you'll be amazed how fast you make progress.
Now, if you can spend $25 a week to stock up, wow, you can do so many more things. I would focus on adding things like cooking oil and sugar, maybe some honey, 1 bulk item a week. The flour, the sugar, the oats, the rice, beans, all that pasta, all those basics can stretch everything you have. And then if you have that garden, even if you're growing just a little bit, or you have a neighbor like us who produces way more food than what we can eat and that we're very willing to share, you can utilize some of those community efforts and add to things like this. Oh, it looks like we're getting good. And remember, this cabbage was just left over from another meal. And at the same time, I'm gonna put my pumpkin seeds in. Okay, and my pumpkin seeds, I usually buy them at Costco, and I wait until it's on one of their so many dollar off sale, and then I get enough to last for an entire year. Because that means that I don't ever have to pay full price for my pumpkin seeds that we eat a lot of. Now, if you learn to shop like that, and some of you do, I know some of you do this, it's amazing how much money you save in the long run. Okay, this looks and smells amazingly gorgeous.
Yep.
Now let's talk about your pantry for a second. So the most important thing with your prepper pantry is that it's organized. You have to know what you have and where it is. So take some time. It might mean that you have to build some shelves. It might mean you know, go to the hardware store and get some Gorilla racks or something and put it in a closet someplace so that you can put it all where you can see it and know where it is. I would avoid the garage. Your temperatures fluctuate too much in there, so definitely avoid the garage. You want to store it properly in proper packaging, and we've got lots of videos about that. And you want to date everything. It helps so that you know what the oldest is if you've written in nice black letters the year. And I actually don't do the year that I purchase it. I do the date it's going to expire. So if I buy pumpkin seeds and they expire in 27, that's what I'm putting on the bag. And then you want to learn to really first in, first out. So you're always rotating through and using the oldest food that you have. And make sure that, you know, when we're doing this, we're not buying exotic foods. We're not doing fancy freeze-dried meals. We're just doing the foods that our family really eats, because that's how we create good and healthy meals. Now, this that we're making here, you know, this is plenty for John and I, probably for a couple of meals. And yet, I mean, it cost us a few dollars, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
Very inexpensive.
Our eggs are from our chickens, right? So that's another thing that we can produce to make it less expensive. But you could put anything in here. You could put ham or chicken or any kind of meat that you want to help it be a rounded meal, depending on what's on sale and what you like. So let's get half of this out for Jonathan.
So one other thought that I've had recently is that food shortages don't necessarily mean that food's not available. Sometimes it is that it's priced out of our range.
A $20 steak, I can't have it. It's priced way out of my price range, right? So now I've taken this, and let me switch the spots. This is so beautiful. Okay, so now I'm lazy. A lot of people will do the eggs first and set them aside, but I'm lazy and I don't want that extra dish.
She's not really lazy.
I just want my one pan. And then, see, I pushed all of the rice and stuff out to the corners, and I'm scrambling the egg in the middle of it because I do like it mostly mixed. And then while I'm doing this, let's talk about one other thing. The amazing piece that we have, because we have a pantry that is stocked with food, is seriously incredible. Do we always have the foods that we want to have? No, because quite frankly, we can't afford everything that we would really like to have. But we have plenty to keep us satisfied and to eat well. And, you know, like when my family came over on Sunday and we had this big meal, it was kind of fun because one of the things we love to do is Mexican bar. And after the meal is over, all of the college kids make burritos and they wrap them up and then they take them home so that they have food to eat for a week. And like some of the rice is left over from that. And we try really hard not to waste anything, but I guarantee you that nobody left on Sunday hungry. And because of that meal and because of sharing that meal, there will be a lot of happy tummies for the next little while.
Yeah, for a couple of weeks at least.
Okay, look at this. Look how absolutely gorgeous this is and how inexpensive, but it has everything that I need. It's got my vegetables and my protein. It'll make my tummy happy for a couple of meals, and it didn't cost very much. That's our goal right now. We've got to learn how to make do with less and still have joy, eat delicious food.
And let's remember, the goal is 3-month food supply of things that you eat every day. Now, don't think of it like that. Think of it, okay, let's start with 1 week or 2 weeks, because sometimes we kind of damage ourselves by trying to think too big at once. So start small, keep building it. Like I said, those small, steady steps is really what gets us there. And you will be amazed how quickly you can get to where you want to be and beyond just by taking those steps.
And like for us, we've been doing this a long time. So with the pumpkin seeds, I bought a year's supply. However, during that year, I might get down to where I have only a 3 or 4 month supply until they go on sale again. So everything ebbs and flows.
So what do you need? You need a plan. Build a plan. You need a little bit of discipline and a willingness to start. That's really what it takes. we encourage you to go out and do that.
So, for the question of the day today, what steps are you going to take today to make sure that you are ready for the price hikes this fall? Comment below. And as always, thanks for being part of the solution.